And he rolled up next to me and he goes, Dally, I saw the Butterbean video, bro. He's like, I didn't know you had chair workouts. I said, well, I didn't have them back when you and I were working. I said, but I got them now. He goes, you think maybe we could start.
DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, went on the Chris Van Vliet podcast to talk about how he's been working with Lex Luger, trying to make him into the total package once again. Let's see how this plays out.
Did I hear you've been working with Lex Luger?
Yes.
So Lex has been in a wheelchair for a long time.
Yeah, 15 years.
Wow.
You know the craziest part about that? The day that he got paralyzed, and it was, I'm not sure exactly why it happened, but I've been wanting to see him because I'd heard he'd, found God and he'd gone through this change. And to be honest, I couldn't believe it because I know Lex. And I know when Sting got saved, Lex would bury him. And he loved Sting. But the God shit, he wasn't buying it. And I know the good and the bad of Lex. And I still loved him through all of that. Once we became bros, we were tight as hell. But I hadn't talked to him in a long time. And he had gone through a lot of things that had happened over that period. And Eric Watts is the one who told me, he goes, you gotta see Lex. You're not going to believe it. I go, what do you mean I got to see Lex? I go, you hate Lex. He's like, no, I don't. I go, you wanted to beat his ass. You hated Lex. And he's like, you're right. I did, but I don't anymore. We're roommates. What universe am I in? I mean, that's how much Watts hated him.
Yeah.
And he's like, you've got to see this, man. He's his belief in Christ and everything. It's real. And I said, man, I'm going to San Francisco next week. I can't wait to see him. And that was the night that Lex ended up going down. And the promoter who had just paid me said, I just got a call. Lex had some kind of heart attack or something. There's EMTs in there. He didn't know why. There was no heart attack. But when I ran to the room where he was at, there's Lex sitting in a chair. I'm like, Lex. I come up and I give him a hug. Are you okay? He goes, I'm okay, Dally. I'm okay. He didn't hug me or anything. I didn't really realize. I wasn't thinking at the time, but looking back, I know he didn't. And the EMTs are like, Lex, you have to go. You have to go to the hospital. No hospitals. Like, Lex didn't have anything then. He didn't want any more debt. He's a very proud guy. And he didn't want any of that. And, I'm looking to him and I know things that have happened to the boys when something like this happens. Like, you got to go to the hospital. Like, you got to go, bro.
Yeah.
Because you think so, Dally? I'm like, no, bro, you got to go. And he goes, well, my hips are bad. I go, I'll help you. So the EMT got on one side, I got another, and we picked him up, laid him in a table, and they took him off. The guys who were the EMTs, this is God's work. They're both humongous wrestling fans. They passed. They're in friggin' San Francisco. They're in Cow Palace area. This is the hood. They go through all those towns to get to Stanford, which is one of the best hospitals that there is. And the nurse, when he gets there, name is Charity. They end up taking him within a couple of days in the first class. They have to wheel him in. I don't know how the hell they got it all done, but they fly him into Atlanta, where he goes to the Shepherd Center. And his nurse is Hope. And he's in, no bullshit, room 316. Okay, so whatever is happening here, me and Steve are there like the next day. And by this time, he's starting to get movement back in his fingers and his arms a little bit. No legs. And Lex had a hospital that was going to, and a doctor's going to give him new hips. But now he's paralyzed. Somehow, Lex talks them into giving him new hips, even though he has no movement. Because his rationale was that if you get me moving, I won't be able to walk anyway because I couldn't walk before. And they put the new hips in, and over time, and I've got video footage of me and Lex working together with Steve taking this from 14 years ago,
Okay.
maybe more than that. I don't know how many years ago it was. And then Lex finally gets up and he starts eventually, because he's so relentless, moving and walking with a thing, and then a cane, and then no cane. And then he hit a pothole and he went down. And that's where he was
Oh, wow.
for the last X amount, whatever years it's been.
Yeah.
And when he saw the Butterbean video, we were both at Sting's last match. And I'm sitting there, watching the monitor. And we're the two guys who are WWE guys who basically said, we're going. You good with that? We're not going to go on camera.
Yeah.
We're good. And they were great. And he rolled up next to me and he goes, Dally, I saw the Butterbean video, bro. He's like, I didn't know you had chair workouts. I said, well, I didn't have them back when you and I were working. I said, but I got them now. He goes, you think maybe we could start? I'm like, dude, how many times have I asked you to start back up again? I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Come over Monday. And we got met after that, and we've been working together about whenever Sting's match was that following Monday.
So do you think that Lex could walk again?
I don't know. I mean, I really don't. There's so much nerve damage in there. I really don't know. But I do know that if it's possible, Lex going to do it. And there's so many things I do in the chair workouts, even the bed. Like, no one can tell me you can't do DDP yoga. It starts in bed. Like, you can't get out of bed? I got like 9 workouts for you in bed. Then chair force, sitting in a chair. That's where I focus most of my things. Chair, and then getting him to stand up and then go back down. And stand up and go back down. Standing is one thing.
And he can do that now?
He can stand, but it's for moments.
That's a big improvement.
No, it's a huge deal. And I'm going to put that video out soon to let people see that you can stand. It's shaky.
Yeah.
But it's pretty amazing. And again, what I do is every time he works out, it's a completely different workout. I'm adding, subtracting, changing, growing. And I've never done this before with anyone. So I've got our first workout. Do you know how many people are in chairs that aren't paralyzed? There's a lot. How many people are in those little scooters in the friggin', there's a lot.
Yeah.
They'd like to be out of that.
Yeah.
Well, you could start here because
that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I definitely want to keep up with the progress that Lex makes. Listen, I was never a huge Lex Luger fan. I did like Lex Luger, and I thought, there was talent there. There was talent there and stuff. There was definitely a value that Lex Luger brought. But I was never a huge Lex Luger fan. But I'm rooting for him in this whole thing. My wife, she recently downloaded the audio book, Lex Luger's autobiography, the audiobook version. And so she listened to it and she loved it. And she found a whole new appreciation for Lex Luger. And when I was in the car with her and she would put it on, I would listen to some of it. And it's definitely good. A lot of things I didn't know about Lex Luger. Just really rebellious kid growing up, but however, really athletic. And unfortunately, I never got to the part where it's the later years of when it went downhill. So I actually do want to listen to the audiobook myself too, so I could fill in all those gaps to see what happened. Because, as far as I know, he fell into drugs, and there's a whole, the Miss Elizabeth tragedy and stuff, which wasn't a good situation. But to see Lex Luger, who was such a physical specimen, and now to see him like in a wheelchair, it's crazy to see. Like, it's also sad to see. DDP, I know he's done a lot of good work for people. I haven't seen the Butterbean stuff yet, but I'll probably check that out as well. But he's done a lot of good work with people through his DDP yoga, and I have no doubt about it. If Lex Luger is able to do it, I have no doubt he will do it. So I'm curious to see this journey. What do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. And if you do enjoy content like this, I got a whole bunch more goodies on the screen for you to click away and enjoy.